YouTube world, Kevin here, Candy Banana Balls. Been a little bit, want to get some videos out to you guys. Today, just going to talk shortly about your hatchlings and when they get into that stage, when they start feeding, you'll see a little bit of a change sometimes in your hatchlings. When they first come out of the egg, they're super docile typically, super sweet, don't strike at anything. They're just excellent to handle. And with mine, I try to handle them whenever they're not stressed or scared. I try to handle them daily. Other than when they eat, you got to leave them alone or they're in shed. But I try to handle them as much as possible. Keep them, you know, keep them used to being handled. Try to ensure that they're the best pets or breeders for whoever buys them. So this is one of the young ones. They do, when they start to feed, sometimes develop a little bit of a defensive or feeding response, let's call it, to where you got to be a little bit more careful when you're handling them. When you open up their tub, you may see them get into a defensive posture where are you feeding me now? And you got to kind of start to train them to know the difference. So, and there's a lot of different methods out there people use. Some people use what they call like a tap training, or they'll take something soft like a paper towel roll or something and like tap on the snake's nose or whatever, like if it's in a position to strike or whatever, just to like let them know it's not feeding time. The other things you want to just be careful is typical handling is always go from behind, don't wave anything in front of the face, that kind of thing. Just follow normal protocol. And usually, like you see, this fellow was a little bit defensive when I first opened up his enclosure, but as soon as I picked him up, he went right into handling mode, and he's exploring and doing his thing. So, just something to work on, because you don't want to stop handling them just because they're in that what I want to call adolescent stage, or stage when they're first learning, like, okay, I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat, I'm ready to be striking, and I'm going to be Mr. Defensive. You need to kind of work through that stage early on, I believe, to ensure that they're going to be good handling pets and or breeders for somebody down the road. They could always develop something down the road, but it's not very typical, especially when if you don't have any negative interactions. And what I mean by that is, I handle it, I sell it to the next person. The next person gets it and says, afraid or, unsure of handling the snake, and maybe drops it. So there, maybe you have something then you got to work against. Once the snake's been dropped, maybe now it's afraid to be picked up, it gets super defensive, something like that. But that's really, an extreme case. Otherwise, you should have no problems jumping right in and having a great animal to handle, and a great temperament on the animal itself. So this is just one of the fireflies, males banana that are left. I had 5 from that clutch. I had 3 superflies, 1 firefly, and then 1 superfly female non-banana, which I sold about a week ago. That one was incredible. I mean, right out of the egg, first feeding, fed perfectly. That female never skipped a beat. These guys were a little slow to start. I ended up actually assist feeding all 4 the first time, and then all 3 after that took off and were feeding great. I still have one that's just a little bit, I don't want to call it scared, but a little bit of a shy feeder at this point. It's really due to eat, and I offered last night and I didn't get any response, so I'm going to give it, close to a week and try again. Body weight and condition, everything's good on him, so I'm not concerned that way, but they just don't always take off. They all have their own little personalities, their own feeding responses, and unfortunately sometimes they're not super aggressive feeders. That female was awesome. I mean, she took right off, and every time it was feeding time, she was happy to go. And like I said, the other boys were all slow, and they were pretty small. I didn't want to risk it, so I assist fed all 4 of them. Then I waited, I think, the first week. 2 of the 4 ate the first time, and the next week the third ate, but the fourth one still never really took off. So I'm working with the last one, and hopefully we'll get there. But I also believe in, I'm not selling an animal until it's established on eating. I don't want to give somebody a problem right out of the gate. I have all the tools and resources here to get them going. I have regular rats, rat pups, I have ASF, so I can get them, I should be able to get them started on something and get them consistent. And when I'm selling them, I usually want to make sure that they're good on rat pups. So I don't want to sell, somebody something that, if they don't have ASF in their area, or they don't want to, feed ASF. I basically feed ASF to my collection that I'm keeping. I would use an ASF in a situation like, say, the one that's not eating, get it going or whatever. But I'm not gonna, keep it straight on ASF for the ones I'm selling. I do that for my own collection. And I still haven't bought into the whole, when they get on ASF, they're stuck on ASF. I have 10 total adults right now, and I would say one is questionable, where I would say stuck on ASFs. I think given, you might skip 1 feeding or 2 feedings, and I think it would take a regular rat. I haven't gone more than, skipping 1 feeding to try. Otherwise, I can usually switch back and forth. I can usually offer an ASF 1 week, and a week later I can offer a rat, and usually there's no issues either way. I usually take whatever. Now, I do have one that seems to prefer, and that could all be a size thing. The ASFs don't get very big, so when you're offering a bigger rat and then you drop in a small ASF that's almost like a mouse, I think you're going to see that they're going to tend to go for that mouse size or smaller size for the most part. Sometimes they get intimidated by size, and I think that's one of the biggest things feeding wise that ball python owners make as a whole, is we're always trying to get that biggest meal for our snake and make sure it's got the best growth every week. And I think what we do is inadvertently we start buying the biggest possible size. We think, okay, well, that should be fine for our snake, let's get the biggest one we can. And sometimes those snakes would prefer a smaller meal. And I think overall, if you have a collection and you're having problems, give it a try. Try downsizing your rodent. If you're feeding a big, small, or medium, take it back just a notch, like to a small. And I bet you see now you're consistently getting feeding every week, where maybe sometimes you're having problems, like 1 week they eat and they don't. And I think it's all on the prey size. And I think you'll get more consistent feedings and more consistent growth with a smaller meal, more constant, if that makes sense. So try that. I mean, not everybody has that option that they raise their own animals, feeders, and can switch and put them back. If you're going to the store and you're buying a certain, you don't want to have to take it back or keep it. And I get that, but try that. Try prey size. Just try going one step down that you would typically feed, and see if you don't get a more constant feeding out of them. I think you will. I need to get some good pictures. These bananas are so hard to get good pictures for sale. I mean, even in the camera now, I'm looking in the camera reflection, and it does not tell you, the colors that these things have. Get them out in the sunlight, they have a certain look to them. Different lighting, they look so much different. They're such a pretty morph that they're so hard to photograph, though. To advertise, I've struggled. I've tried, on some black background. I've tried taking shots outside. I've tried under different lighting, and I'm really struggling with the perfect spot or the perfect lighting or the perfect background to photograph these guys in for selling them. So I'm going to work on that a little bit. If you guys have any suggestions or dealt with anything like that in the comments, please give me some tips on that, because I'm not sure what the best route is for that. I want to do an ASF video. I think I'm gonna do a feeding video. I was gonna skip it, but I've had some people request it. I mean, there's always so many feeding videos, and it's not, my intention or my enjoyment, seeing the feeding videos. But I think there is some stuff to learn while feeding. So I think I'm going to do one, at least a short one, maybe 1 or 2 feedings, just to point out a few things. And also I want to do a t-shirt giveaway, and I want to base it like on getting new members, new subscribers. So I'm not 100% sure how to do it. I think what I'm going to try, and if you have any suggestions, go ahead and throw them down in the comments. I think I'm going to try, from now I get notified everybody that subscribes. It'll pop up now and tell me John Smith subscribed today. I think what I need, you guys to do for my subscribers, if you want to get into this t-shirt contest, is friends. Have your friend drop the name in the comments of the video I do for the t-shirt and say subscribe by John Watkins. That way I'll have, if there's 10 subscribers or 15 subscribers, subscribed by John Watkins. Then I can say, John Watkins got 15 subscribers. He was the highest, and he wins the t-shirt. I think I'm going to try that, because I don't really know any other way to bump subscribership up and credit the person for doing it, by giving them the t-shirt and a little gift pack. I don't know any other way to really do that other than have them drop a comment that who had them subscribe to the channel. If you have any ideas before I do that, I'm going to like to do that in maybe the next day or so. Please drop an idea down there how I can do that. Basically what I'm trying to do is, just get subscribers up, and again, maybe they don't all stick around, but try to get the message out to a few more people, and hopefully those people will get it to the next people. And I'd like to grow. I don't ever expect to be several thousand subscribers, but I'd sure like to get into the the 400 or 500 range anyway at some point. I think that would be awesome. So thanks again for watching. Like I said, I'm going to do an ASF video, touch up on a few things on the ASFs, and get that out today. And we're going to do that t-shirt giveaway in the next day or so. And appreciate you guys watching. I'm going to get the other hatchlings out too, do an update on them all. That way you can see them all. There are some pretty cool colors here, and we'll do that too. So we'll start pumping out some videos. So thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Have a great one, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And have a great day, YouTube.